I'm a woman. I can't do this. Oh, they won't like me. I'm ugly. Look, I have a pimple. Look at my wrinkles. I'm stuck. I don't deserve it. I should stay home so no one sees me. I can't get dressed. I can't decide what to wear. No, I'm not worthy. I don't deserve this. I can't get dressed. Can't decide what to wear. No, I'm going back to bed. I can't. I am not worthy. You are gorgeous. I'm a magnet to good things. You are successful. You can do this. You deserve this. You're a leader. You're worthy. You are kind and generous. I am abundant to all that I do. I can change anything, and I can do this. With Empowered in Heels.
From Tv Chaar with our newest show called Empowered in Heels. It's women topics and that should inspire you, empower you, and support you. So let me tell you a bit about myself. I am an entrepreneur for 10 years in the fashion industry. I have a clothing line that supports women's shelters across Ontario, and I am an editor-chief of 2 magazines, Empowered in Heels, which deals with true trauma topics for women to empower them, and Biz and Fashion, which just started this year. And it relates to business topics and fashion intertwined to give you some entertainment. I am so excited to announce our vibrant guest today. She has this magnet that I've really been attached to and love her style, because she has this thing of caring for others and wanting to help others. And that is what I really love, dealing with people like that. And she's geared towards entrepreneurs and helping them prosper. She's been in the travel industry for a long time, and she's managed properties for 30 years and lived in St. Lucia for 30 years, right, in the Caribbean. So I'm so excited to be able to have her part of Empowering Heels to empower you with entrepreneurship, about her business, find out what she does, and her tips, because she's pretty generous with tips and how to run a successful business. Thank you, Patrice Esper, for being on Empowered in Heels. You are a true empowering woman, and I'm so excited to have you here with this energy of yours. Welcome.
Thank you, Suzy. Thank you very much for the opportunity, as you mentioned, to share. And I'm very happy to be here.
Awesome. Tell the audience a bit about yourself. They need to know what you do and what your ventures are now and your business.
Well, it's interesting because recently I was asked the question, a couple of opportunities came up where we were asked, well, tell me a little bit about your identity. Who are you? And so many times we get attached to sort of the titles or the roles that we play in our lives or that we have to assume in our lives. And so I've reflected on that whenever people ask me that question. My first response now is, I'm a lifelong learner. I'm a curious person. I love long walks on the beach. And if I had to choose between a beach view or a mountain view, I would say a beach view, but the best views are the beach views with mountain views. So it's a little bit of a cheesy answer, but the reality is that when I reflect back on my life, like you mentioned, I was born and raised on a small island. I had the amazing opportunity to migrate to Canada when I was still a child. So I finished my education in Canada and I promptly went back home for about another 20 years with a small stint in another Caribbean island. Actually, it's still a Republic of France. It's Martinique, which is French speaking. So that's when I look at the all-encompassing of who is Patrice. That's a little bit of everything. What am I doing right now? I have started a small business called Global Property Connections, and I will share a little bit more as you go on with today's interview. But at the end of the day, I like to say that I help people make the right connections.
Okay, with your property management, what made you go into that type of business, basically? Can you relate some downfalls or that made you want to get to do what you're doing? I know you love traveling, so maybe that's why tourism is your big emotional happiness factor to passion. So please tell us more about your journey and what was your pushing point to do what you're doing today?
Well, it's interesting. I had, again, small island girl, beautiful island. And I missed it so much when my family first migrated to Canada. And so there's truly something called homesickness, and I'm still very much emotionally attached to the island. So I remember thinking to myself, what industry or what sort of career choice should I be making? This is me at a 16-year-old, 17-year-old going, okay, I know that one of my main goals is to live again in St. Lucia. So I actually took a semester off of high school, not a gap year after high school, but I took the last semester off of my final year in high school because I wanted to go back assess by, again, immersing myself back into the culture to see what was the industries that were growing and trending, what was coming down the pipeline. It's funny because I reflect back on that period. What average 16 or 17-year-old goes, let me assess first what I need so that I can go and get it and then implement it. But I did just that. And I came back, finished a travel and tourism, because I recognized that it was one of the agricultural industry on the island was changing, was shifting. Tourism globally was shifting. And for whatever reason, that's what I identified, came back, studied for it, went home and fell into, I didn't expect it to be property management, but fell into property management. And what I loved about it was that it actually connected my two worlds, because I was meeting foreign buyers, foreign investors who were looking for a little piece of paradise. And what we were able to do is provide them a peace of mind. That meant that it's absentee ownership, but while they were away, we took care of their properties for them. Not only did we take care of their properties for them, but we were able to help them generate an income from those properties so that the person who's working a full day job, etc., who doesn't think that they can enjoy that lifestyle, could actually enjoy that lifestyle because it in effect could pay for itself. And that was amazing because it kept me connected to my two worlds, because I absolutely fell in love with Canada as well. So it kept me connected to my two worlds. And that's where it led. We'll get into the misfortunes if you want to get there. I don't know if you're ready for that. Yes. So I was living the dream life. I built up this amazing company. At the time I was married. I did not do it alone. So it was my husband and I. And we built up this amazing life. But as we all know, there are internal factors and external factors. And some of those factors we really don't have much control over. And in the years that we had enjoyed the life and building up the momentum and building up the business. So the longest running business we had was 14 years old, and that was a property management company. 2008 came about, and that led to a massive real estate crash, especially in the United States, which is very much tied to the Caribbean. So we were part of that ripple effect when that crash took place. And things became a little bit stagnant. And I knew as a family, we had to make a very, very big decision. And through that all, we actually lost our entire lifestyle. We lost a lot. So we ended up making the choice to come back to Canada. And I remember starting again. I was in my early 40s. I think it was 41. That was traumatic. It was like losing a limb, if lack of a better word. And as much as it sounds, I guess, to somebody, the average person might be listening, not the average person, but you know what I mean. You don't know who I am, etc. So you don't know the sort of the pain that went through there. But imagine you're a 40-year-old person that has achieved so much, blood, sweat, and tears, literally. And now you're back in your parents' basement, but with a family in tow. So that was a shock to the system, and it was very humbling. I had to shake it off. I had to, again, go into that assessment phase. What's necessary? What transferable skills do I have? What can I turn to help re-educate myself and to have a better understanding of Canadian culture? And then get back up. Really stand back up and let's move forward. And that took about 4 years. It was not an overnight process. It took about 4 years, and I found myself in a position where I am literally helping individuals who are transitioning. So whether they're newcomers to the country or they are persons who are tired of their jobs, corporate life, etc., I'm helping them in a different way through the entrepreneurship path. So but there was something still missing, Suzy. I miss that hospitality and tourism, and there's something about that lifestyle that, it's in me. I missed it. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to get my real estate license here in Canada. but I'm also going to continue to cultivate my connections in the Caribbean. And so that's how Global Property Connections emerged. And what the intention, again, now I'm helping those individuals who are looking for this type of lifestyle or property investment, but in Canada, help them realize that dream and help them make the right connections to make sure that they have a trusted source to get them through it.
So it's a true resilience plan that you did, and it pushed you forward to be where you are today. So it's a learning experience that you had to go through to get where you are today. And I'm so proud of you, honestly. It's something that a lot of people don't like to share, but it's those things that really make you become a powerhouse of a person. And I consider that of you because I have this magnitude of energy with you, and it's just like boom, 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 a vibration of energy that I love because you're like a go-getter, entrepreneur, you love to help. It's like this thing that really connects people, and I think that is amazing what you're doing today, and I think you found your niche.
Thank you.
So with all this, I know you miss St. Lucia. What did you find the biggest difference between Canada and St. Lucia? And I know what it is because I lived in South America. So, but I want you to say it.
Oh my goodness. The biggest, you said. I mean, I could go to food. I could go to music. I could say it's, you talk about the energy a lot in this, and there's something about a person from the West Indies and this, from the Caribbean, because that's what it's more popularly. I grew up calling it West Indies, and now it's evolved into the Caribbean, etc. It's that energy that's living in the moment, that, you know, drop of a hat, if there's music on, we're going to start swaying to it. It's just that very easygoing lifestyle. As much as it can frustrate you, I miss it because it's extremely laid back. It's going to get done when it's going to get done. You know what I mean? Like, it's just...
I know. It's like you don't have so much there, but you live it. Here we have so much, but we don't live it until we find something that's happening today. Like COVID has really pushed a lot of people to understand what life is. And I know it's a bad thing, but in a way it kind of brought us back to reality of family check and spending time with the basics, right? So I love that. Yeah, I think that's where the connection is, because I know when I'm in Venezuela or when I was in Venezuela, that energy, that dancing, you know, go with the flow vibe. And sometimes I carry it here too, because I learned the hard way. I'm a Capricorn. You know, Capricorns were go, 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 go all the time. And then I go back, okay, remember when I lived there, I wasn't go, go, go. So let's take it back. So enjoy life sometimes. And that's what I love, that they get to enjoy life. We here want so much more. Like, we have to have the 40 pairs of shoes. We have to have the 30 pair attire. In our closet in Venezuela, it was 3 pairs of shoes, 5 items, and we mixed and matched and we were fine. But here it's like we need 4 cars, and there we have 1 car and sometimes none, and we still were happy. So it's that comparison, and that's what I really wanted you to share with the audience, because sometimes we base our lives on material things, and at the end of the day, it's not everything. There are so many people out there with everything and they're empty. Mm-hmm. So it's that inner core that really builds you up and empowers other people, and that magnitude, that magnet that you have that attracts other energies to want to just meet you and get to know what you do and stuff like that. So that's why I have you on an Empowered and Healed, because I know you empower so many women, and I'm so grateful for you to be here today. So with all this said, I got to find out about your business now. Are you still doing it while you're with COVID? Is it still going? How has it affected you? What have you done to change and relate to build that resilience and continue on with your business?
The reality is that I share it with clients too.
Yeah.
The need still exists. The solution still exists. It's the method of delivery that has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So I have open arms, welcome this virtual world where we are doing the most we can with what we have. And that's ultimately living in the present, really accepting, okay, this is what we're working with. This is what we're going to use in order to achieve what we set out to achieve. It is unfortunate because what has greatly impacted the hospitality industry as a whole is the fact that the borders are closed. They are slowly putting new protocols in place to make it safer. It's a little bit of a longer process. It's going to be costing a little bit more. Eventually, I do not see this particular industry recovering as quickly as some of the others, just because it's one of the ways that we are all protecting our own worlds, our own little bubbles, on a bigger scale. So that's going to impact the way investments or property owners are going to be looking for properties. And that may impact other countries more than others, because a lot of these smaller or developing countries rely even more heavily on foreign investors. And that's going to change for a little while. So from my business perspective, it hasn't changed too much. I'm still providing information. I'm still sharing connections. But for a lot of others, actually bringing that to realization is going to be a slower process, and it's going to rely heavily on people being a little bit more patient and compassionate with each other.
Yeah. I think all business, it's going to take at least 1 to 2 years, and I think the travel industry may take longer. Hopefully not. I think people are bored in being in their homes, so they may want to do just to travel and live once and enjoy, but we don't know what's going to happen. And honestly, if something occurred, we are so blessed we're in Canada, and it's probably safer to stay here because of our medical system, and just our government alone has helped so many out there. So no other country has really done that. So I find that as a blessing to be in Canada, right? So yeah, I agree with you. It's going to take a bit, and we just need to be positive and patient and follow the rules, and hope this will pass through, and keep strong and safe, basically.
For sure. And Suzy, I wasn't sure, because I know there will be a break in this somewhere, but I do have some tips or pointers for anybody, but we can wait until after the break. That I would be happy to share what I feel as persons in this position could start doing when they get to it. So that's just something I'll be happy to share later.
I'd love to do that. Let us advertise a little bit, and we will be back on Empowered and Healed.
Ashoka Parathas. Enjoy the Indian taste. Ashoka ready-to-eat range. Enjoy the Indian taste.
खाने के बाद एसिडिटी की बड़ी वजह डब्बों के मसालों में शामिल MSG, हाइड्रोलाइज्ड सोया प्रोटीन और केमिकल्स हैं। तो अब इस्तेमाल करें हबीब रेसिपी मसाला मिक्सेस, हर खाने की उसी लज्जत के साथ। नो MSG एडेड, हाइड्रोलाइज्ड सोया प्रोटीन और हार्मफुल प्रिजर्वेटिव्स के बगैर, शुगर फ्री, ग्लूटेन फ्री, सिर्फ और सिर्फ खालिस मसाला जात हबीब रेसिपी मसाला मिक्सेस। अवेलेबल एट ऑल Fresco outlets and all Desi grocery stores across GTA.
Etobicoke Motors Incorporation, serving the Greater Toronto Area since 1991. Car Guru's top-rated dealer of 2019.
Hi guys, my name is Ali Yunus from Century 21 Rico. I'm a real estate agent in Durham area. I'm working as a real estate agent for past 5 to 6 years. A lot of information about real estate, buying, selling, commercial.
We have Patrice Esper here. She's an entrepreneur and she has some amazing tips for us. I know that the travel industry hasn't done well and has taken a big toll with COVID-19. Do you have any suggestions for other travel industry people or even people that wanted to study or was studying that industry and is on hold right now with everything that has occurred?
Sure. It's interesting that you said about students too, because that's such a valid point, and I will come to that one. I've put together a couple that I've shared on my website as well as on my Facebook page for Global Property Connections. But for persons who are already invested in the hospitality industry, so they're short-term rental owners, whether it's Airbnb or VBRO, or they do it on their own websites, etc. My encouragement or suggestions would be first and foremost, follow the health guidelines and the travel advisories. Always be on top with what they're sharing. So if you're not already on their emailing list, get on their emailing list. So you're one of the first to know what's coming down the pipeline and therefore be able to adjust accordingly. Update your cleaning protocol. A huge, huge factor in all of this, and what people are looking for is, will they be safe in your space? And one of the ways that they're going to feel safer is knowing what it is that you're doing to keep the space clean and safe. Consider price promotions. People are looking now for longer stays, especially because we can operate from virtual working spaces. So one of the things they're going to be also looking for, not only maybe a better price point, but do you have accessibility? So what's your broadband or Wi-Fi strength? That's going to be something that's going to be even more relevant to them. I know that there's some countries promoting, Barbados is a great example, to enter for a chance to win a 12-month stay in Barbados. So we're going to see more of that where, hey, you've got the time, you're working mobile now, come on down, we'll make sure you're comfortable and can enjoy it. We're also seeing it in our own backyards. So consider some of the beautiful countryside and rural areas that we have in our own country, in Canada, and see what people are offering that way. But if you are the one offering it, start promoting some of those options. The last two is review and update your property descriptions to reflect how you've taken care of your property and how you're implementing some of those changes. And lastly, remind the world that you're open for business. A lot of people don't know what's open or not open, have they entered the phase 2, 3 yet, etc. So let the world know. And what I love seeing is some of those who the very first thing a person sees when they land on their page is the COVID new protocol, safety, etc., that's a reassurance. And again, it just reminds people that you're taking care of the space. So when they're there, they can feel safe. Last part, this is with regards to the second part of your question, Suzy, about students who are studying or persons who are travel agents, for example, or people, travel advisors, etc., who are now going, okay, what am I selling? Because we can't even get people to it, etc. I think we have to face the hard reality that things are not going to be the same for a while, or what they were before COVID-19. So what I would encourage is to continue having open conversations about the future of travel. My encouragement would be to start looking at transferable skills and what job opportunities exist with those skills or for those skills. And unfortunately, some of us are going to have to sit down and think, okay, what do I have to re-educate myself on in order to move forward with my life? Far less specific to this industry. It's a hard reality, but I think many of us have to sit in that space and think, what else can I do now while we wait?
I agree. I think a business always, as an entrepreneur, you always have to have a couple of different buckets. And not only rely on one bucket. I learned that the hard way in school, because you never know if that one bucket that you're relying on closes down, and where do you go from there? So you always have to have some alternatives, and this is a good time to grow that and gain that knowledge and take courses. There's a lot of free courses online that you can kind of build your credentials so that it can gear you to other avenues, and maybe something that you really can incorporate later on in life with the travel. So look at avenues like that, and I truly love your tips on this, because it's such a huge issues right now with everyone. And there was a lot of people that didn't even get to go on their vacation. Yeah. And I'm not sure how they're dealing with that now, and if they were credited back, how does it work? Do you know anything of that sense, or is that more like a travel agent?
It's more of a travel agent or the airlines, etc. No, that's not my specific area of expertise. I'm more on the physical space, so the property itself. Yeah.
Okay, I love this. I think we're helping a lot of people that are in that industry and students that have graduated or working in that area, and they're up in the air saying, what are we going to do, right? So how can we empower other women, business owners, to build resilience and having business stand out right now? So give me, I know you gave me a whole bunch of tips, but give me one empowering statement that everyone can carry, all the women out there, because my show is about women, can carry out there so that they can push through that negative point that they're feeling right now to get to that positive point.
My biggest one, I do a presentation on brand, personal branding, etc. And it's one of the top things I encourage about it. So cultivate connections. Cultivate connections. What do I mean by that? Keep your communication lines open, reach out to others, see how you can be of service to them, and it will actually naturally open up. Can they be a service to you? But when we're in a business community, we have to sometimes tap on each other's shoulders and seeing how we can support each other and really strengthen the community as a whole. So we're no longer necessarily just looking at it singularly or individually. We have to look at how can we survive this as a whole first, and then we look at the individuals. So that would be my biggest one, is start cultivating connections. If you haven't reached out to somebody recently, another business owner or supporter of your business in the past, do so today.
Yeah. I actually did follow up with a couple. It was just something that I care, right? And if you care about your business, you care about other people, that's how you can continue that caring. And they remember those things and do it with your heart, right? So, I know you mentioned that you have another avenue of source of employment, and tell me about a bit about that.
So not employment, income.
Sorry.
Because you're self-employed, so it's generating another income. I love to speak, so I share my stories. I share information, I share resources where possible, and I do so on speaking platforms, whether it's giving a presentation, whether it is emceeing for an event. But the opportunity exists for all of us to find our voice and to share our voice. It might be through writing, it might be through speaking, it might be visual like this, but it's so important. Your story is important because many times it gives others permission to share theirs, and it reminds us all we're not alone. We're not alone in some of our struggles. We're not alone in our celebrations. And that in itself is motivating. And for me, that's another way that I generate an income. Yes, because I do have to support my life, my family. And it's an amazing way to develop your confidence. And if you've not heard of it before, check them out. Toastmasters International. They changed my life. And that has given me confidence to do speaking competitions, confidence to reach out to others, confidence to sit in this space and talk to Suzy and Empowered and Healed. So with that, that's another way of again, helping yourself and building your resiliency.
I'm so proud of you. Yes, I've gone to a couple of Toastmasters with work. It was a mandatory thing that we need to do because we deal with a lot of clients. And I've gone to a couple here in Whitby. It's been fun. I've met a couple of really nice people there, and it's a great way to meet other people and relate and gain that confidence and speak and get that voice for the voiceless. Because sometimes us as women, we are known to hold back and be conservative. And honestly, unless you speak your word, no one will know, right? So, and learn to speak that word. So you don't need to be rude about it. You just need to know to be professional and tackle what you need to tackle in a good way, right? So this is all about empowering other women. I love having you here. So if I ask you one personal question, if you had a time to turn back time of a mistake that you've done or did something that you regret, hopefully we never regret, but we learn from it, what would that be?
I've reflected on that question. Honestly, one, have more fun in your life. But two, if the more practical side of it, I would have invested in more property as early as possible. Because there is, like you said, not in every bucket. So I would have wanted to diversify my portfolio, but seriously, I would have wanted to invest in that, something substantial, tangible, sooner than I did in my life. Yeah, it's so true. Properties, I always tell my kids, property is always a good investment, and especially now, to buy property, it's going to be very luxurious to be able to do that with jobs how it is right now. People to get a mortgage today, because of this incident that has occurred, there's so much checks that are going to be involved to get that mortgage, and our kids are going to suffer. So I don't know, thank God, when I got my severance, I decided to buy more property in that sense, because it was the best thing to do, and this is how we have the house here now. But I could have invested on other things. I could have traveled, I could have done me, but I wanted to have something for my kids and have a property, because I know property will always increase and you will get that value from. A car, you never get value from. You can have that Ferrari, but you will never get that value for that Ferrari once you take it off the lot. So property will always appreciate, right? So I love that. I think I would do the same. I did buy a property in Covert, which I sold. I should have kept it. I'm trying to sell the property in Toronto, and I'm debating. I think God tells me not to sell it, but let's see what happens. I'm leaving it to him. So where can we find you, Patrice? Well, currently I am online. So you will find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Twitter. My two main pages is Facebook under Global Property Connections, and on LinkedIn under Patrice Esper.
And then you do consulting for anyone that wants to buy a property. You can help them guide them as to what properties are good to buy, because I know when you go on vacation, you have a lot of people that tackle you. Oh, come and buy property here. And at least they know someone here that actually has lived there and know where to purchase and what to invest on and what area is not good, what area is good and what's not, right? So I trust in you, and I'm so happy that you're empowering so many women across the globe with this show and having you on and Empowered in Heels, which you truly empowered so many women and so many career people out there in the travel industry and helping them with your tips. Thank you for being here. So grateful.
Thank you for having me, Suzy. I'm also very grateful.
Thank you. Thank you for being on Empowered in Heels. Please watch out for our show every week with new women topics about how we can inspire you, support you, and guide you to get to the next level. It's all about empowering other women. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, please contact me, Suzy Tamasy. You can find me on Facebook or in LinkedIn or on Instagram. Have a blessed day and continue pushing yourself to the next level. Have a good one.
Tandoori range. Enjoy the Indian taste.
We all want to see our kids grow up strong and active. We all want to do the best to have a balanced diet. We all run towards becoming better and better every day. We all wish to celebrate elderliness by being healthy and cheerful. Health and wellness is our passion. We Eye Care Naturals follow our passion and deliver quality healthcare products to our clients' doorsteps, and that too with free shipping. Eye Care Naturals is one of the best-selling vegetarian and gluten-free multivitamins in North America for women, men, kids, and the elderly people, with all essential vitamins and minerals for less than $1.20. So come, make the switch and enjoy the change, because Eye Care Naturals is pure for sure.
अगर आप ग्रेटर टोरंटो एरिया में रहते हैं और परेशान हैं अपनी नई या रीफाइनेंस मोर्गेज के लिए, तो एतमाद के साथ राब्ता कीजिए CIBC के मोर्गेज एडवाइजर कामरान कुरैशी। बेहतरीन रेट्स और आला सर्विसेज के लिए 647-280-6663। Serving the community for 17 years, CIBC के मोर्गेज एडवाइजर कामरान कुरैशी।
Sharma Singh Immigration Services. We have the expertise of former immigration officers who worked with the federal government of Canada for over 25 years. Our commitment to professionalism is our promise. For all your immigration needs, contact us at 416-831-7262. That's 416-831-7262. www.sharmasinghimmigration.com. Sharma Singh Immigration Services. We specialize in all complicated immigration matters.
Ashoka pickles, made with the goodness of olive oil. Enjoy the Indian taste.